Next on the Delaware Way, we talk to the first African American and the first woman to represent Delaware in Congress, but she had to overcome personal tragedy to get there. The interview next. This is the Delaware Way. Welcome to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. We come to you now from the brand new offices of Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester. For the first time in history, Delaware is represented in the House of Representatives by a woman and an African American. And so without further ado, let me introduce you to Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester. Are you used to the title yet?
It's funny when you just asked me. I think I am. I think a lot of other people maybe are not used to it because I keep getting called congressman, but that's okay. That's fine. I'll take that too.
And we'll get into that in a second. There's a reason for that. There's a historic reason for that. But speaking of history, I'm sure you've heard by now that you are the first woman and the first African American, and you've had some time to reflect on what that means. Yes. What have you come up with?
You know, it's been interesting, especially this month and next month. This month is Black History Month, and next month is Women's History Month. And, you know, as I took the oath, I think that's when it really sunk in. People asked me after the election, what does it feel like to make history? And I never could really get that question. You know, I think most people who are out here, everything that we're all doing, you just do the work. You just do the work. But on the day that I was sworn in and standing on that floor with my hand held high, it really finally sunk in, and it's an awesome experience. This month I was quoting Martin Luther King. He said, "We're not history makers, we're made by history." And I think in this time in particular, we are at a very special time in history. Whether it's, you know, the election of this president, to the Women's March that just happened, it's a different time.
It's interesting you said at this time. Why do you believe this time is different and you are important in this time?
You know, I know for myself, there was a feeling of, I need to do something. I need to be a part of contributing to moving our country forward.
But is that anti-Trump?
No, what it is I think it was, like many people in this country, I had gone through a personal situation myself, a personal sad situation, and kind of was in my own sadness, you know, for a minute. And I opened my eyes and looked around and saw a lot of other people that were just kind of surviving, not really thriving. And I also listened and heard a lot of negative discourse. You know, a lot of just negativity about, you know, pitting people against each other. And I felt that's not us, that's not America. And I decided, instead of sitting back, I'm going to step up. It's a special time for people to wake up and be a part of what they really want to see in our country. And
that is the positive of it. There's no question there's energy, especially on the Democratic side, brought about by Donald Trump's victory. But you talked about the semantics, the verbiage, the hate speech, hate speech that's going on. That you said you make the decision to run based on that, but that's increased. That's now on steroids. Do you reject that? Are you someone that's going to try to work with everybody?
You know, part of your show is actually called the Delaware Way, and I think some people have some good parts to the Delaware Way, and some say there's some old parts that we might want to change. But one of the things that I think is representative of us as a state has been the desire to try to work across the aisle and to try to work with other folks. But the freshman class, there are about 52 of us, actually on Valentine's Day, we actually spoke. After the end of session, they have these things called special order, where you can get up and give 1 or 2 minute speeches. We as a freshman class signed a letter of civility. And what we said is that we're not going to agree on everything. We know that. But on those areas that we can, let's try to find them. And those areas where we don't agree, let's be conscious of our tone and our tenor and how, you know, the what might be different. We might not agree on the what. But let's talk about the how. I'm looking forward to the president's address to the country because, you know, again, we can't talk about bringing people together, but then say things that separate us.
Only the freshmen signed that letter of civility?
Well, you know, for us, we wanted to do something as a class. We felt that it was very important. We came in, again, at this time, and we had just gone through orientation together. And even in that orientation, we asked the staff, can we just have some private time? And then we said, what kind of things do we have common ground on? Again, we're not going to agree on everything. We know that.
No, I understand it, but it's a wonderful thing that you signed that. It's a wonderful thing. You wish that everybody would sign that. You think that Congress could learn from their freshmen.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's the start. And I think there are a lot of people in Congress who do work together. I mean, in the short time that I've been there, I've seen people that do have relationships across the aisle. I see people walk across the floor. But again, I think this time in history, it's important, though, for all of us to also listen to the people. I mean, things like the Affordable Care Act. You know, there are people who are Republicans and Democrats and independents who are benefiting. Everybody benefits from that. And people are starting to speak up and stand up, you know, across the country, whether it's in town hall meetings or calling their representatives. We've got to listen as well.
And do you agree it has to be fixed?
You know what? Everybody, I think, has said it's not a perfect law. There are things that need to be fixed. And we are hopeful that, you know, we come back. Don't just repeal something. You got to have something that fixes, replaces, makes it better, makes it stronger. Don't take back any gains that we've made.
I've spoken to a lot of people that have gone into Congress and left Congress because they didn't like it. They didn't like what it was like. And they felt a real pressure to always vote party line. Mm-hmm. Are you feeling that pressure already?
You know, I typically am a little different. I don't feel that pressure, but I do feel that there are ideals that the Democratic Party has and that needs to be really expressed. You know, for example, some would think that jobs were what was really important for a Trump voter. Well, jobs are important to a Democratic voter as well. They're important to an independent voter as well, good paying jobs. And that's actually what I ran on. I ran on two things. One was strengthening our economy and jobs, because I had heard so many stories of folks that are having these challenges, whether they're coming out of prison or whether they lost their job in 2009. And also my background as former Secretary of Labor and head of state personnel.
And one of your committee assignments is
education
goes
and
right
workforce.
to that. We have to take a quick break. We'd love to come back and continue the conversation with Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester when the Delaware Way continues.